Welcome to Cultural Fluency Makers. I'm your host, David Wellish. Each week, we welcome leaders to share how they stay ahead of the ever-changing consumer landscape. With today's cultural transformation, top brands need to understand diverse consumer segments from Gen Z, Hispanic, and LGBTQ+, to gamers, wine enthusiasts, and basketball fanatics in Iowa. Their marketing strategies require them to keep the pulse on their consumers, but also their brand in the category to continue to grow revenue for the long term. Cultural Fluency Makers is sponsored by Collage Group, the only cultural intelligence engine that provides brand and consumer insights on the why that drives consumer behavior and purchase decisions. Let's get started. So I have been waiting for this episode this whole week, and very much look forward to a super dynamic and insightful dialogue. With me today is a marketing executive and transformational leader with over 2 decades of experience driving innovation at some of the world's most recognized brands. From launching Marriott Bonvoy to leading the high-impact campaign around MLB's rule changes, he's been at the helm of major marketing initiatives in both sports and travel and leisure. His work has delivered billions in revenue and pushed the boundaries of what brand storytelling and strategy can achieve. But really, what truly sets him apart is his belief in people-first leadership. He's built cultures rooted in kindness and collaboration, leading with the idea that success is not just about being in charge, but about taking care of those you're in charge of. He currently serves as the global head of marketing and insights at Comcast Advertising. Scott Weisenthal, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. And David, I can't tell you how much I appreciate being here with you today. It's really an honor, and thank you so much for that kind intro.
Of course, let's dive in. So, Scott, this country continues to change and shift. You know, the consumer landscape has changed over the last 10, 15 years pretty dramatically. Consumers are fragmented, polarized. Diverse America continues to drive a significant portion of the growth in the marketplace. What role do you see for cultural intelligence or cultural insights for consumer organizations like Comcast?
Such a great topic. In my mind, everything starts with cultural intelligence, especially at Comcast Advertising. And I think every company should be leaning in and embracing cultural intelligence, understanding people's values, their interests, communication styles. It's so important to effectively targeting the right consumers who really have a propensity to interact with your brand. Here's one example I can give. While I was at MLB, one of our main cultural insights that the commissioner's office unearthed was that fans wanted a faster, more action-packed experience every time they went to the ballpark. So this, of course, led to various rule changes, and arguably, probably the most impactful one was having the pitch clock. And this answered the cultural findings. It was the centerpiece of one of MLB's biggest marketing campaigns in decades. And that is something that I would use as an example for a B2C world. In a B2B world, like I find myself in now at Comcast Advertising, this type of thought leadership not only helps us better connect with clients, but it gives them the trust that you know what will resonate in the market, that Comcast Advertising knows what will resonate in the market. And I've always said, really, really simply, cultural relevancy leads to brand relevancy, which is really important to our advertisers. There's one stat that I was thinking about, David, that I just wanted to share with you, which is that according to a recent study that Comcast Advertising did in partnership with Media Science, consumers are 86% more likely to recall ads that are relevant to them. So this really ladders back to leveraging cultural intelligence and having the moments that matter in culture, which are big differentiators for us, and it gives our clients competitive advantages in the market.
Scott, so eloquently said. Thank you for that. In your work, you were talking about client work. So you talked about your B2C example, then you talked about the role in the B2B world. Do you see your clients demanding, asking, I mean, even driving growth through sort of diverse audiences or this sort of cultural relevance? Do you see any of that in the marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think what happens is, one, they come to us with a specific target audience, and that target audience, we really look at the psychographics of those audiences to ensure that we are connecting, reaching the right people that have the biggest propensity to interact with their brand. And, and then there's the insights that they ultimately want from us, because it's so important that we don't just reach them, but we make sure that our clients resonate with them as well. And that's the same rigor that we put around our own marketing when we're out there marketing Comcast Advertising, when we're marketing some of our brands like Freewheel or Universal Ads. I'll give you a quick example, which is that just recently, on August 13th, Taylor Swift, she teased her new album with a countdown and lock icon on her website. Our social team saw that. They quickly capitalized on the moment by sharing an Unlock Your CTV strategy post, CTV being connected TV, that promoted our Universal Ads platform. Then later that day, a mysterious door appeared on Swift's site, prompting a strategic tie-in with our big campaign for our media solutions business called Your Door to What Works. And so we posted an orange door with the caption, "Welcome to Comcast Advertising's new era," which teased the campaign. And that post, because we tied to something that was in the cultural zeitgeist, was our top performing content of the month, reaching about 10,000 users organically.
I love the example. It's interesting, and we'll talk more about this later. But we recently at Collage we launched cultural intelligent audiences, and it's exactly what you're talking about. Is understanding an audience, but really the cultural intelligence we believe it provides a competitive advantage because it goes deeper. It goes into the values that are driving that audience profile. So, Scott, cultural, you talk about cultural intelligence being important and being important really, whether it's B2C, B2B. Ultimately, if you're an organization that markets and sells to consumers, the theory is that this is important. What's hard about it? What's challenging about getting it right?
Right. So the first thing that I will say, because I completely agree with you, that every organization, whether they're B2C or B2B, they're talking to humans, they're human to human. And if organizations really want to grow, they better lean into cultural intelligence, because we live in a diverse world. And if if you don't have your ear to everything that's happening out there, then you're just going to end up spinning and wasting a lot of money with ineffective tone deaf marketing campaigns. What's hard about it? Honestly, I think the hardest thing about this area is that people, they think they have all the answers. People are set in their ways. People don't like to listen. And cultural intelligence is all about listening. When I was at Marriott International, the CEO there, his name was Arne Sorenson, one of the kindest, smartest human beings that I have ever worked for. And what Arne did, what he was known for within the company, is that before he made any decisions, he would ask others, what do you think? Now, he wouldn't just ask people that he normally interacted with day to day. He would walk the halls. He would ask people who were specialists, managers, directors. He loved getting other people's point of view because he knew that he had one point of view and there were many others out there. And he was such a good listener. And I think that was one of the things that made him such a great CEO. So honestly, I think that one of the key challenges is being self-aware on the importance of listening to others and coming to terms with the fact that none of us have all the answers.
So humility, Scott.
Humility. You said it with one word. You said what with one word? Perfect.
I love that. I'm reminded, you've been in the creative space for so long, and I'm reminded of the way advertising would get approved in the old times. 5 executives, 7, look at an ad and then go like thumbs up, thumbs down. And the reality is that they were representing who they were, and they were representing, who, right, like their taste. And today, because of the complexity of the consumer landscape, research is essential because you just don't know. You can't know anymore. Your intuition is only as good as who you are, potentially representing. But I love that. So listening, actively seeking input, and being humble. So you talked about cultural relevance leading to brand relevance. We at Collage, we also measure brand love, which so many marketers, it's like the North Star, brand love. If brand love happens, so many good things happen behind that. I've had the privilege of moderating many roundtables with CMOs and marketers in the last 18 months. And every time I ask cultural relevance, how important is it? Everybody goes, oh, it's critical. If you want to win hearts and minds of consumers, gotta be culturally relevant. Scott, how do you define cultural relevance? At Collage, we call it cultural fluency. But how do you define it, and how do you become it?
So that is an excellent question. And I know that, as you asked that question, you touched upon brand love. And yes, brand love is extremely important. But if you're going to dig deeper, it's about what you need to build that brand love. And also, what is it that you're hoping to get by having brand love? It is tied hand in hand to loyalty. But I will tell you that for me, when I think about everything we do at Comcast Advertising, and I'm looking to measure brand love, what I'm actually looking to measure is retention rates, is
Mm.
share of wallet, is customer lifetime value, which are all reflections of brand love. And I'll also add these are the types of metrics that a CFO cares about. It's really, really important that as a CMO, that I am able to prove out the efficacy of what I do in ways that play to our business priorities. Now, brand love goes across all of those things. Now, just to hit your question really, really hard with an answer. So I think that brand love ultimately equates to client satisfaction. And so when I think about how we build brand love at Comcast Advertising, that will lead to retention rates, greater share of wallet, and more customer lifetime value. I think about, are they happy with our white glove service? Are we solving their business problems while making their lives easier? Are we able to show them what worked, why it worked, and recommend what they should do next? I want to make sure that through our marketing or through our sales team or through our comms team, that our partners understand that they have a service provider, as well as a strategic partner who will deliver for them over and over again. That's how we turn clients into advocates, which leads to word of mouth, which I think is the most authentic form of marketing. And just to go full circle, all of this happens because we understand the target audiences. We have that cultural intelligence to be able to do these things like no one else can.
That's great. So I sense almost an obsession, a client obsession. You're right. Like brand love is about client obsession for you, and if you do that, then all good things come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are client first.
And in order to be a good partner or an excellent partner, given the world that you guys live in, you're saying cultural intelligence allows you to match your client brands to the right audiences.
That's exactly right. And not only match them to the right audiences, but also make sure that we put them in the right context. So I think that's also something that is a unique selling proposition for Comcast Advertising. When we are working with our clients, we are thinking about how do we uh, align them with cultural moments, not
Yep.
just thinking about ad slots. That's commercial currency. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that being a part of Comcast, that we have the biggest moments in sports, in news, in live entertainment that put our brand partners in the cultural zeitgeist. I mean, next year we have the Super Bowl, we have the Olympics, Premier Soccer, NBA, WNBA. Of course, every year we have SNL. So we really have all of these incredible levers to pull on behalf of our clients. And we have to make sure that we have the right cultural intelligence to put them in the right context around one or more of those things I just mentioned.
And how would that a direct to consumer brand you think become culturally relevant?
Number one, they are uh, crafting stories. It's all about the right storytelling, whether you're doing it in a 5-second ad, a 30-second ad, a 60-second ad, that they're creating the right storytelling and they're then sharing that storytelling with the world in the right context. And I think that those are two really, really powerful ways of ultimately entering the cultural zeitgeist.
It's great. Um, so I paid very close attention, Scott, to this the notion of a culture grounded in kindness and collaboration. You've led major campaigns for the most remarkable brands in complex industries, MLB, Marriott. How do you balance bold revenue driving innovation with creating this kind, collaborative driven culture?
So I wouldn't think of it as a balance. By definition, balance is really about offsetting the value of one thing with another. And this is not about offsetting one thing with another. It's really about building them up together. And you use the quote at the during the intro of this podcast, but as Simon Sinek once said, it's not about being in charge; it's about taking care of the people in your charge. And that is the way that I lead. And I find that when you take care of your people and create a culture of kindness, a culture of collaboration, one of recognition, employees will enjoy coming to work. They will care more about the product and they will be productive. And I've seen time and time again how this mindset leads to big, awesome ideas that increase revenue and customer lifetime value.
So one really leads to the other. So in many ways, it's not a challenge, it's not a balance, but it's all about leadership. And by the way, as a DC local, Arne was a giant,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
and I'm sure much learned from working with and for him.
Yeah, he was an incredible mentor to everyone who not only worked directly for him, but that interacted with him. Such a special person.
So Scott, we couldn't do this and not talk about AI. So what is your perspective, the impact of AI in both the marketing, the advertising, and the insights world? How fast? How fast is it evolving? What impact is it having? Would love your thoughts.
Yes. So in the marketing world, with any project, there's always been this idea of there are three things your marketing can be: fast, cheap, and good. But in the past, you could only choose two of the three things. You want cheap and good, it won't come fast. You want fast and cheap, the work is probably not going to be good. But now with AI, you can have all three. And so I'm a big fan of AI because, of course, we want things to be fast, to work at the speed of culture, to get things out there at the speed of culture. We want things to be as inexpensive as possible to produce so we could have more working media. And of course, we want whatever we are producing to be really, really good. And so, as I mentioned, with AI, you can do all of those things. And I am a really big fan of AI, but I think we just need to be very careful with how we use it so we don't turn off consumers, so we continue to be authentic. And I think that if people are using AI just to be cool or to win marketing awards, that's a problem. It won't be authentic. You have to use AI because it will successfully solve a client need, that it will successfully solve a business problem. And we think that at Comcast Advertising, one of the greatest benefits of AI is how it can help democratize access to premium video. One example of that is that in January at CES, we introduced a new platform called Universal Ads. Universal Ads enables advertisers of any size to seamlessly make, buy, and measure commercials across premium video from top
Hmm.
publishers. And recently, we launched a business partner program on Universal Ads that includes generative AI creative partners so that we can help advertisers launch faster campaigns at a fraction of the cost across premium inventory that's available on the platform.
That's amazing. And uh, when you talk about potential trade on the authenticity front, can you say more? What are you seeing in terms of what AI is enabling on the creative side? I mean, clearly fast for sure. Um, is it resonating in the same way? Is there a trade on the authenticity, or do you see it evolving so quickly that it's actually working?
So it's it's moving really fast. It's evolving really fast. Certainly, no one who is using AI wants anyone to look at their marketing materials and say this was created by AI. I think that's one of the fastest ways for it to uh, be seen as inauthentic. But there are many ways we should not be using AI. For example, when it comes to testimonials, the quickest way for a brand to not be taken seriously or to lose credibility is to have AI characters giving testimonials about their products. And so there are many places where I wouldn't have AI touch marketing, but when it comes to performance optimization, when it comes to using AI to make sure that we are it's easier to find us with LLMs to use to help us just make the creative that we're doing more cost effective. Those are the places where I think that AI is really beneficial to the marketing department.
And do you, Scott, do you think that, today, and clearly there is a reaction from consumers about a commercial that was created from AI, but do you think that that just goes away because it's going to become so central to everything we do? Is this just an early stage thing?
It is, and we're at a point where when you're looking at an AI spot, you can catch so many mistakes, whether it's the um, the people's mouth that's not completely in sync with what they're saying. There are situations where um, there are spots where somebody you see a car in the spot, but it's actually the wheels are not touching the ground. So it's not a perfect science at this point. And again, I think that it lends itself to inauthenticity when it's not being done right, when you can't tell that it's being produced by AI. Now, again, we're just talking about AI as a creative tool, but AI in marketing is helping us measure business outcomes. It's helping us make sure that we're getting in front of people at the right time when they have uh, the most propensity to click through and engage with our products. So there are so many ways to use AI outside of just uh, the creative production of commercials, and we are looking at every type of touch point and every part of the marketing funnel to see where AI can be beneficial for us and for our clients. And I just see that becoming a more important as time goes on.
Fantastic. Such a amazing time of innovation.
Yes, it really is.
It reminds me back to the early AOL days, but it's so much bigger. So we've just spent time learning from you, Scott, and really appreciate all of your wisdom and shared experience. We'll spend a few minutes learning more about you. So, just really quick, what inspires you? What motivates you?
So, what inspires me? The first thing that I will say is that my family inspires me. I have 3 children. I have an amazing wife, and every day that I get up and I want to better myself, it's on their behalf. And so, first and foremost, they are the biggest reason that I get up and that I do what I do, because I want to make them proud. So that would be number one. But I get inspired by other great work that I see from other amazing marketers. Um, and I would say between that and my family, those are the two things that drive me.
I love your first. So so important. Thanks for sharing. This is for the younger audience that is, I think, seeking so much wisdom, so much professional and career wisdom in such shifting markets and marketplace. So, if you could travel back in time and give your 20-year-old self advice, what would that be?
That's a really, really good one. I would probably go back and teach him the importance of patience and of self awareness. I will be the first one to say that I was really, really impatient then. And that, I needed to have more self awareness of what I was doing, why I was doing it, ultimately what success looked like in all different facets of my life. And, those are two things that I think would have really helped me in my early 20s.
That's great. I wish someone would have given us those kernels back then. Much much needed. We're always in a rush.
Yeah.
When you know what the world is doing for you, you're rushing and and you're not really reflecting as much. And we will finish this great session with what do you do outside of work for fun?
So outside of work, my hobby is writing. I love to write. And so on a Saturday or Sunday, if I have a little bit of time in the morning while the family is still sleeping, I will go over to Starbucks and I will just do some writing. And by writing, I like to dabble in telling long form stories, novels. And so that has always been my passion. I've written a book for each one of my kids. So that's what I love to do. At heart, I am a storyteller, and whether I do it at work or whether I do it at home or at Starbucks, it's something that is a part of me.
That's incredible. I don't think I'm going to tell my kids about the book per kid. That's gonna put me in a really bad place. But that's incredible.
I just want to say on that note that what ended up happening was that I wrote a book for my daughter, and she is my youngest, and I have two sons who are older. And of course, as soon as I wrote that book for her, they both came to me and said, "Where's my book, Dad?" And so I had no choice. I would have written the books anyway, but I had no choice but to make sure that each one of them had it, and that's a part of my legacy to them.
That is wonderful, wonderful. And storytelling, I think, is gonna become such an important skill in the AI world. Real, authentic stories, I think, are gonna be so important. Scott, I want to thank you for spending a little a little bit of your afternoon, your Friday afternoon, with me and sharing candid perspective and lessons learned and takeaways about such relevant topics for today.
Well, I want to thank you for having me as a part of your podcast series. It truly is an honor to be here.
Thank you again. This has been another exciting episode of Cultural Fluency Makers. See you next time. That's a wrap on another episode of Cultural Fluency Makers. Thank you for joining us. Please share your comments and what you would like to hear more about. Be as specific as possible. For show notes and more, please visit culturalfluencymakers.com. This show is proudly sponsored by Collage Group, unleashing the power of cultural intelligence to fuel brand growth. Please follow Collage Group on LinkedIn, and we will see you next week.